Alright, I vote we get started. If anyone ends up hopping in, or if anyone's in right now, just let me know how the audio balance is, because that's something I'm constantly trying to fight with. But I apologize for the late start today. I woke up later than I meant to and had a bunch of errands to run, so I had to take care of that before we got started. But for those who have been following, which I don't think is very many, the East games, big fan of them, and I've played through basically all the ones before this. I did East 1 and 2, I did East Arc, then I did East Oath. No, I did those, whatever. I did all four of those. Now I'm doing East Origin. The intention actually was when East 8 came out, which was supposed to come out on PC a few weeks ago. I was going to do that first and then do this one last, just because I wanted to do East 8 while it's still like a fresh release, but they ended up delaying it, so we're just going to get started on this instead. We'll probably be finished with this by the time they come out with East 8 on PC. It is available on PS4, and I do have one now, but I just don't feel like buying it on that, because I have all the rest of them, or all the ones available, on PC right now. So I'm just going to... Actually, yeah, I bought East 7. I forgot about that. I think I have that. So, should probably give that a try too, if that is something we have time for before East 8 comes out. But regardless, the plan with this, if... Oh my god, I forgot the controls. Oh goodness, this is going to be weird. Alright, so we're going to start the game simultaneously with two characters, Unica and Hugo. So they're the two main characters. I have already unlocked the third character, which I'm not going to hover over because it's supposed to be a secret character, one that you unlock. And yeah, I've already unlocked him, and because I've beaten this game, well, I guess 3 times now. Actually, I may have beaten it like 5 times. I think I went through with these two characters again, but I don't know if I ever finished it again. Regardless, we're going to do these two characters simultaneously. I'm going to start with Hugo, and we're going to get through the first level, which they're pretty substantial. So basically to the first main boss, and then I'm going to start with Unica and do the same thing. So these two are going to basically play simultaneously. I'm going to clear each level with one, and then switch to the other. But we're going to start with Hugo, and I'm not going to keep chatting too much. I don't think this really needs a whole lot of introduction, because the intro cutscenes and everything are very long. So the actual opening cinematic, even though it's kind of a low-res thing, is actually pretty awesome. So I'm going to mute my microphone during that, because it's so cool. So anyway, let's get going. We're going to keep it... Ooh. Now, when I did East Oath on hard, that was a fucking mistake. And really, all I want to do is clear the game, so we're going to keep it on normal. Bonus acquisition, and nah. Now, for some reason, I think this is all in French, and that was probably a deliberate decision, but all these games have had no voice acting on the PC releases, even though a lot of the older releases actually had voice acting. But this is basically the only voiced part of the entire game. So, regardless.
Sur l'intervention des dièses jumelles et des 600, les grands pays prospéraient. Les dièses avaient un trésor précieux, la perle noire. Elle avait des sortes de pouvoirs mystérieux. Avec la magie, on pouvait faire des miracles. Avec l'éclairia, on pouvait amplifier ses pouvoirs magiques. Grâce à elle, on croyait que les pouvoirs de Is dureraient une éternité. Mais soudain, un désastre frappa Is. Beaucoup de monstres démoniques sont apparus et ont commencé à envahir Is. Les forces diaboliques ont tout fait de ravager la terre, mais tous les habitants sont sauvés dans le temple de Salomon. on aurait dit la fin du monde. C'est alors la perle noire qui sauva Is de la ruine, car elle souleva les temples dans les airs. Mais, aussitôt après ces soulagements fugitifs, les démons ont construit une autre tour, et une nuée de monstres sont partis en direction du sanctuaire. Is menaçait de tomber. Pire encore, un événement imprévu arriva dans le temple de Salomon. Quelle histoire! Les dièses jumelles, les descendantes de Is ont toutes disparu. Dans une situation désespérée, les 600 ont pris une résolution. Pour constituer une équipe de recherche, ils ont organisé une sélection parmi des chevaliers et des sorciers. Enfin, les 100, ils envahiront à la terre dévastée.
So yeah, that was pretty awesome. In spite of the like low frame rate for what was almost a slideshow, and the terrible resolution from whenever this was released in like 2006, still probably the best intro out of all these games. And I'm a big fan of the music, so that really helps. There's something else you must do as well. So we've got a secret mission. Now, they're going to elaborate on what exactly we're doing down here shortly. They went through like the opening, kind of like setting up the plot, but we start to, in short order, hear exactly what is going on down here. Ugh. Made it to the surface and I'm still alive. Transport spell failed? No, it had to be something more than that. I don't know how you missed the big old black tendrils shooting out from that tower that kind of knocked you into oblivion, but hey. Maybe they had dirt on the windshield of that thing or something. Rotatree, the younger brother. So we remember these from East 1. Now, for the record, this all takes place like thousands of years before any of the rest of the games. So there's no Adol. There's none of those people, and this is all like the prequel stuff, like how East went into the sky to begin with, and the whole Solomon Shrine and everything, and the origins of the Black Pearl and all that kind of stuff, where the demons came from. So it's a pretty good idea, I think, that they did this. I don't know if this will ever have a direct sequel, because I don't think there's a whole lot that happened in the 1,000 years between this game and East 1, but this was actually the first game that I had played out of the entire series, because it just showed up on sale one day, and I was like, it looks alright. And I ended up really enjoying it, so I ended up going back through all the rest of them. This was like the most recent one that was available on Steam at the time. Suppose this is a place, it explains why this is the only place not thick with poison gases. Yeah, it seems to have some kind of vitality to it. The rest of the world doesn't look like it's doing so hot. Young man. So for some reason, the Rotatree dialogues are the ones you can't skip. And that was true in the first game, even. Hugo Fact. So if anyone remembers from the first game, the Fact family was actually pretty integral to the plot. And even though they didn't really go into too much detail on it, the main character, or the main villain, was had a name in common with that. So maybe we'll find out exactly how that all comes together. So the goddesses have disappeared. It's not good news. Came down to the surface. Why on earth would they do such a thing? Sensed their presence faintly. Ooh, they ended up there, eh? We have experience with that tower. A veritable nest of demons. Alright, so I guess we're taking point. Really don't have any backup. This is probably a terrible idea, but I think going in hot is not really the smartest plan. But hey, we've got me taking the wheel here, so I think we'll be all right. Kind of an arbitrary cutscene here, but it gives you an idea of how shitty this place is. The tower entrance actually doesn't look too bad for a House of Demons. It's pretty pristine. Uh-oh, battle music. Alright, well, guess we're intervening. Yeah, none of these people look like they're equipped to deal with this, so guess they need our help. So actually, when I first played this game, I played with a mouse and keyboard. So it's actually going to be troublesome because when I gave this a test run a few weeks ago, and I tried to play it like a twin-stick shooter almost, and it doesn't play like that. So I was having a lot of trouble trying to do this with a controller, but we'll figure it out. Oh, we got some spinny boys. Alright, well, they give you a tutorial here, so that's helpful. But the problem is, the tutorial's for the keyboard. So, I'm gonna have to... I gotta remember how I set up the controls, because I set them up way differently than I did in the past. So, those assholes just pissed off. I don't know what the hell they did, but they left us here to deal with this. Alright, eat that. Oh, you think you're hot stuff. But we got boost mode that's suddenly engaged. What did I set this to? I think I set it to right stick. Nope. Okay, it's right bumper. That gives us 4 of these turrets, or whatever you want to call them, satellites. And really increases our firepower, so that's some hot stuff. Is that all you've got? Yeah, that was pretty basic. The typical beginning of the game mobs. Acolytes of the Shrine. Yeah. I don't know why on earth they would send 2, like, novices down here on what is supposed to be an extremely urgent mission. Well, apparently I'm a novice too, so they really didn't send their best fighters down here, did they? Okay, a bit of the background exposition. Don't have to hear that whole monologue. Well, why on earth would you 3 come in the front door here if you didn't think there was a lead to be had? I would have stayed way the hell away from this place until I was sure I needed to be here. So, I guess we're splitting up already. Seems like a terrible idea considering you 3 could barely handle the most basic mobs on your own. I mean, together. We got a crystal. What is this stone abomination? Whoa. Oh, we got the magic conch. I would have handed those out before we started, but You know, considering what happened and that in counterattack was almost inevitable. It would have been a good idea to have all these preparations done before we departed, but hey, I'm no tactician. Okay, so this carries on the theme of all the games that were built on this engine. Saving only happens at the shrines. So this is where we gotta do it. Kind of a pain, but it be how it is. These are also where we level up. Divine Blessings are, you gather, I think they call them soul points, or what do they call them? Skill points? I don't remember. It was a thing that we said no to in the intro. It gives you, like, bonus ones, but I elected to keep it normal, so people didn't give a false idea of how quickly you can level up. Okay, so yeah, we level up here. There's no buying weapons and armor. You do find them, but there's like one new one per level. And you do upgrade them, but it doesn't happen the same. There's no merchants in this game. This one really toned down the RPG elements over the rest of them, which I actually kind of like, but I understand why people did not. Just because I felt like the RPG, like, light elements in the rest of the games were not really that beneficial to it, and just kind of made them much more grindy. But there's still some of that kind of progression stuff here. There's a lot more upgrades we can get, and some of these do have multiple levels, so we do spend a lot of time farming stuff for this, and that's probably the kind of thing I'm gonna be doing off screen, is a lot of the grinding and leveling up. But anyway, we can't afford any of these now, so that's just how it is. The good thing is we can teleport from the start of the game, which is another different change. Usually you get these kind of items after a fair amount of progression, but we get it right from the start, so. Now, obviously, the whole game takes place in this tower, so it's not going to be a lot of open world traveling and stuff. But the levels can be pretty expansive, and they don't all look the same. There's like a theme to each level, and sometimes the layout can change a little bit, but yeah, they do, unfortunately, especially in the later areas, do tend to stick to the, what do you call it, like that, sort of like tile-based kind of, like layouts, like bridges and like platforms and stuff. Those kind of suck, but I don't think it's that bad. Alright, so some of these enemies are pretty dang tough. But you level up pretty quick in the beginning, and your power really your power really starts to increase a lot once you start leveling up. Now, these red enemies are specialists. We'll see when we kill them. Any enemies that are highlighted in red are tied to some kind of barrier, usually, that you have to destroy before you can go through. So there's sort of a progression halting kind of enemy that you have to defeat. They're not optional, but this game doesn't hold so much to a lot of tropes in other games where they make you clear the room before you can leave. You can pretty much just run past anything. But as far as Hugo is concerned, he's the ranged. He's got the ranged abilities, obviously. But he's also got some, like, special attacks. And this one is, if you hit them with that, not only does it do a lot of damage, and a direct hit does a lot more than, like, a glancing blow, but it also debuffs them. So that's a good thing to, like, open a charge with. But it can be tricky to pull off, because you have to, like, take one step and then hit it. And if you do it too fast, it doesn't work. Pots usually have stuff like healing items. There's no, there's like no healing items that you keep in your inventory. But, so, at least you don't have to worry about, like, keeping your inventory full of them. But you do have to, like, find out where they tend to be, like, where they tend to be dropped in the level. And then you have to, like, fight your way back there to get them. Whoop. So Hugo may not be the most interesting character to play, But when he starts, like, unlocking other abilities, it gets a little more intense as, like, enemies start getting more aggressive. Boss fights are pretty wild. But his defense is pretty low, so you want to stay out of melee combat as much as possible. I would say Unica is actually a bit more challenging because you have no choice but to stay in combat. One of the sacred artifacts of Ys. Listen, you guys abandoned this place a long time ago. Why would you expect all your sacred artifacts to be where you left them? Get the Force Sheath skill. So this plays out a lot like the rings and the swords in the older games, where you get spells associated with these. And you upgrade the spells with gemstones that you find in the world, or in the levels. Take that. So if you're having trouble with a lot of mobs, you can, like, bait their attacks and jump over them. That's pretty much the most consistent way to dodge. This is where it gets tricky, because we don't have a lot of room to stay out of this guy's line of fire. Good thing is those assholes can only attack in 8 directions. And they also cannot jump. So I cannot hit them from here. Eat it. Whoop. Like that. You see these purple things on the ground, those are like the skill points you gotta pick up, and you gotta... They do disappear after a while, so you gotta make sure you grab those. These basically take the place of experience and money, kind of combine them into one thing. So, you have to pick them up, because it's not like grinding for experience in the older games, where you just killed an enemy and your XP went up. I don't know why a lot of, like, Japanese games insist on making you pick up drops like that, but they do, and we just kind of have to deal with it. So, good thing about this spell is it kind of makes you float. Now, obviously, Unica has a spell that's kind of like that, but it functions a little bit differently. But we'll worry about that when we get to it. Now, the problem is, since I was planning on doing, like, just hopping back and forth between the two characters, the big problem is that I don't think any of the intros are skippable. So when I do Unica, we're going to have to watch all that shit again. Also, the other things I'm picking up, those are from, like, the same idea as Ys Oath, where, like, buff items drop on the ground. You can see on the bottom left, like, right above the character portrait, it says Strength Add, MP Speed. So you pick this stuff up, and it, like, gives bonuses to damage and, like, regeneration and stuff. It's good stuff to have. There's nothing that, like, enhances your... There's stuff that enhances your defense, stuff that enhances your XP gain. Nothing that, like, affects your health, because that's stuff that you have to find, like, permanent upgrades for. But obviously keeping those topped up is a good idea. But they only drop from enemies, usually. Oh yeah, that's something that, like, the strawberry thing is, like, something that maxes out your boost meter. Now, one of the big problems with this game that I've noticed that I don't think happened in Ys Arc is that your boost meter, for some reason, at the start of a boss fight gets like, emptied for no good reason. So if you walk into a boss fight with your boost meter full, it's going to disappear. It's a huge pain, because it means... You're trying to save it, you can't, like, start off a boss fight with it and get a good, like, first few hits in. Uh-oh. Shenanigans. What a devilish trap. Way to go, jackass. Alright, well, Purify this statue. Why am I, like, slurring that word so much? Statue, not statue. Alright, we'll do a save there. We have enough to accept a single blessing, I think. This is something we want to get as soon as possible. That's a huge help for grinding levels later. But we'll strengthen our armor here. So that gives us a bonus to our current armor, which is, we do switch out armor and weapons later. As you can see, there's 6 throughout the game, and 6 accessories that I forget exactly how those work. But 1 level up gets you an improvement to your armor. And when you get the next armor, you have to level it up again to max that one out. And each new armor you get, the cost of leveling it up gets higher. So it only costs us 100 there because we have the most basic armor. Weapons upgrade differently. We'll get to that once we find it. Alright, so we're in a totally different area now. Still got the yellow boys. Whoop! Oh, we got a teleporter. Look at this asshole with his buzzsaw shit. Take that. Aha. Eat it. Whoop. So you cannot jump while you're attacking, which can be a pain. Like you have to stop attacking so you can jump. Just wail on this fool. He can't do shit. So a lot of times I end up doing that big blast spell by accident, which is kind of funny. But what you can basically do, if you're fighting an enemy that doesn't really come at you, you can keep kind of hammering the movement and attack buttons at the same time. And he'll end up pulling that off pretty consistently. It's a pretty useful way to do it. Actually trying to do it just ends up slowing you down. So I find that to be probably the best way to try and utilize that spell. Oh. I just kept walking right into that one. Alright, leveled up again. I think leveling up just like improves your strength and your health. There's like no other bonuses that really come with it. Those guys don't tend to keep attacking if you can just keep, like, stun-locking them. The platforming, not the best in this game. They didn't really sort that out, unfortunately. The problem with this isometric view tends to be pretty hard to get a perspective of what you're actually jumping at. And the jumping can be pretty tight in some spots. That's actually, I remember in Ark, I actually had to resort to using the mouse and keyboard at some point because I could not pull off a very specific, like, jump mechanic in that game. So the good thing is, like, mouse and keyboard are interchangeable usually. So you don't have to, like, if you are having trouble with one, you can quickly switch to the other. I don't think there's too much. I mean, I haven't played through this full game with a controller yet, but I don't think there's too much in this game that requires that kind of like precision. I just tend to have trouble. Like I was using the mouse cursor as almost like a targeting reticule when I was playing this before. So trying to get, you know, the idea of where I'm aiming using just the analog stick can be a bit tricky. Which is why it's good that there's kind of a pretty wide spread to his shots, but obviously you get 3 shots, and if you hit an enemy with all 3, that's your best damage output. We got a pair or something. I think we gotta go down here. Did we come up here? I don't remember what we did. Did we come up through here, or do we go back? Oh no, we haven't been here yet. Alright, here's where we coming blasting. Actually, probably should have saved this for down there. It's a bit more of a gauntlet down below. So, use it while I got it. So the boost mode is helpful because it not only increases your damage and your firepower, also increases your defense, I think, and your boost recovery rate. Or no, that's not how that works. Never mind. I'm an idiot. Surprising amount of blood in this game. Okay, we made a blue circle happen. Where do you think you're coming from? Save that. That's probably health. Boing! So that's a trampoline, I guess. Alright, here we go. So the emerald boosts the, I think, yeah, the wind skill. Topaz improves the thunder skill. Ruby enhances the fire skill. So the good part about this is this unlocks the charge mode for these spells once you level it up with the gemstones. So you hold the spell instead of tapping it, and as soon as you flash blue, you get an improved version of the spell. And I don't think it doesn't cost any more MP to use it that way. It might, I don't remember. The problem with the wind spill is it is the slowest to recover and takes the most to activate. But obviously it lasts quite a while, so that's kind of the balance for it. Oh, it's also a shield. Oops, I just walked into that. I'm just going to demonstrate it. Now, it does break. If you take too many hits, it will disappear early. But if you have it on single mode, you can take one hit and take no damage. If you have it in the charged mode, it takes, I think, 2 to begin with. And I think with each upgrade, it can take another consecutive hit. But this is the kind of thing... you can hold the spell down and keep attacking. So it's the kind of thing you want to use to... Like, you can hold it between rooms and activate it when you need it. So that plays out the same way that it did in the East Ark and East Oath. Got a blue moon crest. Uh-oh, someone's speaking in Nordic runes. It's no ordinary demon. It's adorable. It's a rue. He don't want to attack. He just wants to play. I haven't really touched up on my ancient Nordic alphabet, but can't really tell what he's saying. Now, there is actually a point later in the game where we can understand what they're saying. I think you have to have a specific character for it, which is the unlockable character. And he just ripped ass. Give him the fruit. What the hell are we gonna do with it? Whoa, he flashed. It's a piece of Claria ore. And he smacked me with it. Alright, so he upgraded our wand with that piece of ore. Now, it doesn't always work out like that, but what happens is we find the ore, and we take it back to somebody who will continue to upgrade our weapons. Okay, I'm mistaken. There actually is no... there are no weapons to find. You don't find the weapons, you just continue to upgrade the one you have. But... upgrading your weapon is essential, so no matter what... like, no matter how you're doing in the level, you have to find a piece of ore. There's one piece of ore in each level. And you have to continually find it because you need to continue upgrading your weapons. And I'll see if I can demonstrate that later, but it makes such a difference in boss fights. Like, I found that out because I once went into a boss fight without finding the upgrade for that level. And I was doing 1 or 2 damage a hit. And when I finally found the upgrade, I started doing like 40 to 60. So it makes a huge difference, even if you can get through the level without it. The bosses just escalate it like crazy. You can see we're doing substantially more damage. So leveling up is not as significant as improving the weapon. But they both do help, so it's a good thing to farm levels regardless. Also, leveling up is the only way to improve your health, I think. Actually, no, I'm mistaken, because we did find this. And these you should just use whenever. They give you, like, a bonus 3 points to your HP. You should always take it regardless. Because there's, like, no point to saving it. I don't think there's any improving how much it gives you. Alright, so we're back. Whoops, I'm standing on the statue. I apologize for my sacrilege. It's actually kind of funny that, they use and attack here the same thing, so if you're trying to, like, face a statue, you end up shooting it. Okay, can we afford another blessing? Not quite yet. Increase stationary heal rate. As far as I know, this only happens outdoors. But basically, you can stand still and start getting your health back. So that's a good way to, if you have the patience for it, you can just wait and start getting HP back. Okay, so this is all stuff we want at some point, but I might save up for this. I don't know if that's a good idea now, because we aren't really getting the XP gain to help with that. Oh, well, here we go. We put this here. Something happens. Oh, man. Am I still streaming? Twitch gave me a network error. I don't know if it's still working. Oh, it is working. That's weird. I guess Twitch just crashed. Or my Twitch browser crashed. But I'm still streaming. That's good. Alright, let's hop down the rabbit hole. People. Well, these people don't look pleasant. Oh, this bitch is a bitch. Alright, well, I guess we're fighting. Epona? What kind of name is that? Now, it's actually funny, she says 3 points are better than 1, trying to argue why she uses a trident. That's actually not true. That's why they didn't really use tridents or pitchforks in combat. That's why they used a single-pointed spear. But hey, whatever makes our job easier. Heh. Yeah, let's just throw a little casual misogyny in there. Wow, that was a deep burn. The dialogue can make me cringe once in a while. But apparently the localization in East 8 is a hell of a lot worse than this, so I'm glad that they're holding off on it. Alright. This fight is actually kind of tricky because she hops around a lot, and obviously we need to stay away from her as much as possible. Whoops! I kind of jumped the gun on that one. She does have ranged attacks. That's not really what you need to worry about. What you need to worry about is when she gets real close, she starts getting really aggressive like that. And those pokes can be really hard to get away from. But the shield makes such a huge difference. Because you can just kind of tank a lot of her hits until she starts doing that. Whoa! So now we got this and boost, so eat shit. Damn, I thought I had her there. Alright, well now she's dead. Alright, so that was very, very poor performance, but you get the idea. Mine. The Mask of Eyes. But it's only got 2. It's also got a nose and a mouth. Hey. What's the hesitation? An awful lot like who? Alright, well, see ya. A lot of confidence for someone who just got their ass kicked. What did Father say? Who is really here? God, there's so much cloak and dagger shit. See, I always hate, like, the common trope that we're controlling a character who knows more about the story than we as the player do. I don't know. I've never, like, appreciated that. It's a very common thing. So, what are you gonna do? Okay, here's one of the funny things about these satellites. I just had it happen there, but I can't really demonstrate it. They have, like, their own independent collision with the environment, so they can get stuck around corners sometimes. Like, I can't really get it to happen here, but yeah, they will get stuck on corners. So, like, if you're in a narrow area and it gets stuck on something and you keep going forward, it's not gonna follow you. You have to, like, go back and get it. Okay, well, we got a key, and we know where there's a locked door, so let's head that way. And eat it. But we also got this mask. Kind of forgot to show that off. Okay, so that's one of the accessories. The accessories are something I think you can wear at any time, but you can only wear one. The problem with this mask, it makes everything very monochrome. And you'll notice we also cannot see enemies. But that becomes like a puzzle thing later. So we'll see how that really works shortly. Oops, I killed that one without even seeing it. Also, those enemies that are highlighted in red, they're not like special enemies that are normal in the level. Once you kill them, they never come back. We gotta go back through this. Make this jump. And our way forward is just around the corner. Aha! Yeah, gathering these spirit points or whatever are not a very fast thing. I don't know what the hell I was trying to say there. Alright, this icon. This emblem on the wall. You cannot interact with it normally, but it does correspond with this. I would think that they would make it something more distinctive. But you see now the wall has disappeared. Can't remember. Yeah, it comes back if you take the mask off, so you gotta keep it on in order to get through there. Floating exclamation point. Do what now? Rico Gemma. Remember the Gemma family. Yep, more background exposition. Now I question, how did he get in here? If you need the mask to get in here and he left it behind, how did he get in here? Oh, of course you're injured. There are darklings, apparently. Whatever that means. God. What are they teaching kids these days? Okay, he gave us a thing. Woohoo! Alright, so that's another accessory that we have to wear. This again I think is only like incidental. Doesn't have an effect on most things, but in the right context it makes a difference. Such as with that trap spell thing that we gotta deal with. I hate the flying enemies in these games. They're especially hard to fight with ranged attacks, just because of the way it works. Melee attacks, not so much, because there's usually some melee attacks that kind of have like a rising thing to it. That makes it a bit easier. Okay, so we got this necklace. So we should be able to make it through that trap room around the corner. Eat it. Nope. Max out our boost for what that's worth. I think it was already maxed. Alright, so here we go. Now the problem is that this doesn't make you immune to the spell, it just allows you to resist it to some extent. But these guys in the corners will also shoot at you while you're doing it. But the spell only affects the ground, so you can jump and avoid it. Whoops, I boosted. So frankly, since you can avoid it by jumping, I don't know why you needed the pendant to begin with. But if you were to walk in here without it, it would just pull you into it without giving you any control. So one way or another, they made it mandatory. Perhaps it was the ambiguous him. Uh-oh, somebody else. Musha. How the hell do you say that? Okay, here comes the typical blonde-haired, super childish love interest, apparently. Kadena. That's quite an outfit to be wearing in such a hostile war zone. The 6 priests. Man, I've been laying waste to this whole tower on my way up. Why is anyone worried about me? Wow, way to just shoot her down, man. See, again, they're just sending, like, the most, like, incapable people down to do this very urgent mission. Like, surely they had some better people to afford. And what are they doing up in the shrine up above? It's not like anything can get up there. Why are they keeping their strongest people up there? Oh, what do I know? Uh-oh, we got jellies. These guys are assholes. I think they can poison you or something. So, gonna want to be careful with them. As usual, slimes just somehow have learned to be the most infuriating enemies. Alright, so here we go. Got some boots. Go on. Alright, so we have to equip these, even though they're the only ones we got. You cannot unequip them, so once you got them on... I mean, why would you want to unequip them? I don't know. Some people like to go barefoot in terrible places, I guess. Let's float over here. Okay, so we got those very kingly-looking demons down there. I think those guys were, like, ripped off wholesale from... East Oath. Which is kind of funny. But they are pretty... Oh, God, I blew it. Alright then, you think of hot stuff? Now, they guard from the front. But against Hugo, I don't think they actually guard against any damage. So it's kind of funny. I think Unica bounces off their shields. But Hugo is like just an absolute... He just ignores it. Oh no, he actually was blocking damage there. My mistake. Why don't you get your ass down here? Okay, that's weird. He wasn't blocking any damage while his shield was up. It was when he was attacking that he actually had some, like, invincibility. I got a little confused on my controls there somehow. Yep. And yep. And yep. Just to be safe. Oh, you think you're so hot with your floaty explosions. Alright, let's get out of that hot mess. Yeah, you're worthless. What good does your shield do you? Haha, eat it. We're racking up some SP now, at least. You sorry fool. And yeah, the shield does do contact damage, for the record. Okay, for some reason, when I'm right in his face, he can actually block it. So I think that was actually a bug, now that I think about it. Because when I'm in melee range, that's when he blocks it. When I'm at, like, actual range, he won't block it. No, never mind. I'm an idiot. I'm making false correlation here. This is getting hot. There we go. Not a scratch. We got something special up here. Oh, it's just outdoors. Oh, we got the red bats. Oh, you think you're so special because you can fly. Eat it. Ooh. This is the boss fight, if I'm not mistaken. We're already here. I thought there were actually more things down here. Oh, you know what there is, because you need a key to open this door. Okay. So we're not at the boss fight just yet. We've just reached the room. Okay, we will save. And we can upgrade leggings. Be stationary heal rate. I don't think I care about that. Yeah, armor, both like torso and leg armor can both be upgraded from the shrines. We got them two maxed out. Let's return to the previous room. Still got to find the key to that door. Yeah, I think the stationary heal rate only applies out here, and there's never any combat on the like balconies. So it really doesn't matter that much. It just means you don't have to wait as long. Oh, see? That's what I'm talking about. You see, the other satellite is up there on the stairs still. So I have to get him down here. Otherwise, he's just stuck there. These guys are so dumb. He's getting at... Oh! I forgot about this. Oh? What? Is that not the icon that usually... Oh, my goodness. I don't know how that guy whiffed. Is that not the icon that was on the other one? I guess maybe the icon doesn't actually have anything to do with it. It might have just been a coincidence. Okay. We're gonna be in a bit of a shit in there, so I'm gonna head back. I know where we can find a full boost item. I'm gonna go for that. Yeah, eat shit. No point to keeping that charged up. We're gonna lose it when we get into the next scene anyway. Don't worry, we have our ways and means. And there is the Beast Medallion. What a ghastly medallion. Ruh-roh. Oh boy. Boost. Yeah, eat shit, fuckos. Alright, we took a scratch, but easily dealt with. Wow, the sound got glitched out there. I just love how the enemies pop and like their heads start rolling and shit. It's like so gross for such a like child-friendly kind of looking game. That and all the blood, but... Oh, here we go. Woo! Wow, they had a hell of a saw fetish going on there. You know, I also... We're fighting our way back through here. That wasn't really necessary. Because the crystal will teleport us to that statue outside the boss room. Also, if you are ever having trouble, I never demonstrated this, but the conch shell thing that we got here, you can get advice from the chick on the first floor. Demons who are trying to take over the Solomon Shrine are coming from this tower. I think we knew that. So I think you gotta go through the normal dialogues. Nope. Okay, so she only ever has one dialogue at a time. Now, the strange thing about these games is that they have, like, no loading screens. And these came out, I think this actually came out on Windows first, back in, like, 2006 or whatever. And then came out on PS2. And it came out on PS4 and Vita, I think, recently. We can get that soon. That would actually be a good thing to have. So, like, negative status effects like poison and confusion and all that kind of thing. You can avoid those, or you can reduce the duration of those with that. Otherwise, you gotta find, like, curatives. Which can be some rare drops because you can't hold them anymore. Alright. We're on to the first boss. Knock, knock. From above. Oh, that's a big boy. This snarly motherfucker. Here we go. That badass lead guitar. Okay. So those bubbles can be avoided just by staying in the corner. You can't damage them, and you can't really... I think you gotta shoot them in the face, yeah. That, thankfully, has a long trail to it. So you can just kind of snake around and avoid it. But, you'll notice we're not doing any damage to his health. We have to take down his, little... Oh, goodness. Yeah, you gotta stay away from that. Take down his face in the bottom. And then... Then we can, get to his upper head. Okay. Our damage output is apparently not that great. It shouldn't normally take that long. The big problem... You can get through that... Actually, I think the shield can bust those. Yeah, so the shield actually makes you immune to that, and it doesn't even count as taking... Okay, this part is tricky with a perspective. But once he's down, his, like, brain opens up and you can hit it. So, yeah. Probably could have afforded to level up a bit more. Oh, these are the fuckers. These little bugs that crawl around. Oh god. Oh god. Oh god. Wait, now he's doing something. Yeah, he tries to suck you in and then eat you. So more of those crawling bugs tend to show up once he's lost more health. So just be ready for that. God, I get so tangled up in the controls. I have a weird scheme set up, but it's the only way I was able to set up the controls on the... Why are you facing the wrong way, you idiot? It's the only way I could set up the controls on the controller that I can make sure I could access all of them at any given time. It's a bit tricky. Uh-oh. Yeah, just run the other way. That, suck attack only lasts for a few seconds. Okay, the other problem with the bugs is that they leave a trail on the ground that you can slip on. You gotta watch out for that, because you don't have the shield up that can knock you straight into the bubbles. Alright, here we go. Oh. Alright, it's over, you fool. No, I actually don't think we're gonna make it. Nope, shit. Oh well. We still have boost engaged. Oh, he's swiping. And dodges that handily. Eat it. And done. Other than those bugs, we barely took a scratch. Not really. I would actually argue that was easier than the Trident bitch. Okay. Alright, well, we move on to the next spot. Oh, there it is. God, I love this music. I just want to sit here for a minute. Now, even though I love, like, the power metal soundtrack that goes on in the rest of this game, this is probably still the single best track in this game. Like, Falcom deserves a lot of credit for their sound team that writes all the music and performs it. Like, they just fucking nail it. Alright, so we got the status effect first level. Alright, so let's save it again. Now, as I said, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start over and come back to the same location with the other character, Unica. Whoops. Chose the wrong option. Let me run the game again. Okay, now OBS doesn't want to capture it anymore. Oh dear. There we go. Alright. So I'm going to take a quick break, if you don't mind. I'll be back in about 5 minutes.